Hello, everyone. It's Judy. I hope everyone is doing great today. Today, I was going to go over a few of my cookbooks and money saving books that I have. And many of these I've been practicing for years. This right here is a newer cookbook that I found about a year ago at a thrift store for a quarter. It's called Depression Era Recipes. I'm not going to go over each and every one. There are a few in here, more than a few that I really like. There's some that I don't. I'm not going to be doing any stuffed calves hearts. That just, I know there's people that may eat that, but I don't know if I could do that. But I know I do like beans and rice, so I might well just go that outlet. But first, before I went over the books that I have, I was going to just read this to you about the Great Depression. And this is called How to Tell Who Lived During the Great Depression. You can always tell depression survivors by what they save. First of all, money, whenever they can. Then, and not necessarily in this order, they save paper bags, bottles and jars, string, rubber bands, twist ties, newspapers, and magazines. Any paper that's blank on one side, coupons, bread bags, they wash them and hang them inside out on the clothesline to dry. Seeds from vegetables to grow in the garden next year, leftover food, Cool Whip bowls, and prescription medication containers, all sorts of clothing, and anything else that they may have a purpose for later. How many of you do any of those things? I know I do quite a few of those. I'll hang clothes on the line, especially during the summer months, mainly jeans and towels, because I do have a dryer, but those are so heavy, and it does save money. And I did use my little clothesline when our dryer went out and we couldn't afford to get one. This was a few years back. We couldn't afford to get one for a couple weeks. And so I hung everything out on it, even the socks and underclothes. It's the kind of clothesline I have is one that it's like a big umbrella and it pops up in the middle and that just has rows that wrap around. So I'd put the little smaller items in the middle, and then the towels and jeans would be on the outside, so it would cover up whatever I had in the middle. They dried really well, and it did that month. Those few months, I continued to do it. My light bill was probably $20 to $30 a month less, so it definitely helps if you're on a tight budget. Let's finish this. Another giveaway is the phrases they use. Perhaps the most common one is "Don't throw it away. It's still good." Others you may identify with: "For that price, you could have bought a new one." "How much?" "Boy, they sure saw you coming." "You can fix that." "You can make it yourself, lots cheaper." "Keep it. You might need it someday." And of course, "Clean your plate." If these phrases don't sneak into their vocabulary, you can tell depression survivors by observing their habits. They turn out the light when they leave the room. They shut off the water while brushing their teeth. They don't use the clothes dryer from April to October. They have always worn sensible shoes. They have a garden and do a lot of canning. They turn down the heat at night. They probably don't have an air conditioner, but they most likely have a microwave and use it for warming up morning's coffee. They write their grocery list in pencil on the back of an old envelope. They can forecast the weather using only their knees. That would be me. And they doubt credibility of color radar. They buy things on sale, if it at all possible. You've seen them. They're the ones with the good old toasters and the window fans at work. Considering the tremendous changes that these folks have experienced over the past 50 to 60 years, it is no wonder that they cling to the ways of the past. We can learn a lot from these wonderful people. It might be a good idea to bring back some of the frugal habits of our senior citizens. Just think of the money you'll save. I remember my mom telling me how they lived, and they had a pretty rough life. I know a lot of people did during this time. She was born in 1931 and in Louisiana, and it was pretty bad. They had a pretty rough life in a small town, and I can remember her telling me how her sisters picked cotton, and there were 6 children. 2 of them were totally blind, so they had to try to get money together to get them to a blind school. My mother, what she did mostly was play in the mud and make mud pies, which I did that growing up. That must have been where I got it from. And she would cut every time a Sears Roebuck catalog came out. That would be what she would do: would cut out the paper dolls and clothes and such out of that. And she said she had a big shoebox full of it, and that's what she would play with. And they made it work. Kids always tried to make it work, didn't they? Anyway, if you have any memories of your parents or yourself or anything from that time period, it'd be so great to hear about it, either on your own video or post it in the comment section. It'd be great if you made your own video. That would be awesome. But I was going to show you just a few other things that I had, and I have many others, but these were quick to grab, some things that are good cookbooks and ways and money-saving tip books that you can search for when you're out looking. This one is the Fannie Farmer 1896 cookbook. If you don't really have another cookbook in your house, this would be the one, if you can actually see it, because everything in here, there's nothing in here that's easy. Everything is from scratch, everything. And there's some things here I would never do, I'm sure, but if I ever had to cook squirrel, I'm sure there's a lot of people that cook and eat squirrel. I know my husband used to. I wouldn't look forward to doing that, but I guess between starving to death, I don't know. I just can't imagine. But there's so many other recipes in here that I just really, really want to try. And there's been some in this other one I wanted to try. Maybe I can get my kitchen kind of fixed up where we can have I can do some recipes or something. The next one is not a really old book, but she was born in 1912, Miss Tasha Tudor. And this one here has a lot of really good recipes in it. Plus, it's a beautiful book. I don't think you can find this one anymore unless it's just on Amazon or eBay. This was her first one, but there is one called Tasha Tudor and Family. That cookbook, and it's just a beautiful cookbook. I have done a video on this a long time ago. I need to update it because the camera and everything is really bad. But there's some wonderful, easy recipes in here. Then anytime you get an Amish cookbook, most of the time they're easy and from scratch. And here's this is just some of my Amish cookbooks. I'm not sure if I have too many more, but all of these have really easy recipes. Plus, they're just so enjoyable to look at. I love the Amish lifestyle. I really do. And I bet you I would love to go up that way someday and just admire them. But mostly everything in these cookbooks are all simple and from scratch. Here's another one. And this one's a really big, pretty one. If you ever want me to just open the pages and let you look, it's just beautiful pictures in here too. And some of my most favorite items that when I was homeschooling my sons and money was really tight, these were a blessing to me. The Tightwad Gazette, and this is the third one. I don't know where my second one is, but my favorite one is the first one. This is the one I always went back to. As you can tell, I had all these I have all these spots in here. This is from Amy DeCision. If you can get your hands on these. I know our public library has all 3 of them in one book. But there are so many money-saving tips in here. And most of these things are really outdated, but you can still save money on a lot of these things. There's homemade Christmas gifts, teaching you how to make latte, cappuccino for gifts. It's very easy recipes. And money saving, like I said. If you've never heard of her, look her up. I don't think she writes anymore. I'm pretty sure she doesn't. But I remember reading this and her telling you to cut the paper towels in half. And that was back then, they were the whole sheet. So I literally would be sitting in here sawing those paper towels all the way down to the paper cone. And now they come that way. I mean, who knew, right? We might could have been millionaires from that one. But anyway, try to get your hands on any of these if you're really trying to save money. And like I said, if you would like to do your own video on what you do to save money, I'm going to do some. I mean, I do have a clothesline I try to hang clothes from. Um, I have canners and water bath. The only thing I've ever done is the water bath canning with pickles and jam. It was strawberry jam, but I really, really want to do that this year. And I do have a pressure canner. And I think I'm going to start with the dried beans. I know that's everywhere on the internet, and I should be able to figure that one out. And I would save a lot of money because I have all the jars already. Because a few years ago, I really wanted to learn how to do it. But with work, it was just really hard to find the time. I still work part-time, so it is still kind of hard to find the time. But I really want to quit work soon. And I hope everyone takes this to heart and maybe just send a recipe in the comment section or your video, or post a video of what you're cooking that would be a Depression era recipe. I know there's a can't think of the name of the channel, but there's a little elderly woman, I think she's passed but from now. She does Depression. She lived during the Great Depression, and she has Depression era recipes, and they have got millions of views, and that is so awesome. She is such a sweet, sweet lady. I wish I could have met her. Cannot think of her name right now. When I think of it, I'll post it. I'll try to pin it at the top of this video. But anyway, if you have any questions about any of these books, pretty much everything I have, I bought years ago. And these two I got for $0.25 at our local book sale. Check your libraries, because a lot of times they are weeding out old books and people are donating books, and you can get them really cheap. So check to see if your library does that. Ours does once a month. Anyway, I hope all of you are doing well and you have a great day, and I look forward to watching your videos. And I'm sorry I'm not very good at this, but I'm trying. Y'all have a blessed day and save money. Bye-bye.